the fuck when I step to the mic.
I'm kind of with Brandon on this one. But that was only,
Murray was fucking that album up.
See,
man.
that's the thing. When I first put it on, I had the same opinion he did. When I first put it on, I was like, man, this shit is terrible. I don't like this at all. I think my expectations were in the wrong place. I think I was expecting I think I was expecting
for it to be a joke.
Not for it to be a joke. My expectations were in the wrong place. I think I was expecting to hear a more updated CANIBUS and KEITH MURRAY. And I didn't hear that. So now I was like, man, this shit, I don't know about this record. I put it to the side. I put it on again, and I thought about it. I'm like, wait a minute. This shit sounds like 1996. And that is what they were going for. If that's what they were shooting for, they did a good job. Because I really wasn't expecting spitting from KEITH MURRAY. I was expecting what I kind of got from KEITH MURRAY, which is kind of juvenile lyrics that
like,
really don't really.
I was like, man, where is he going? Saying old lines from back in '96 and stuff, man.
But I think that's what they were going for. It's like I don't think KEITH MURRAY can really update his style that much.
Why CANIBUS did too though?
But on that album, because if you listen to it, CANIBUS was spitting some silly shit himself. Okay.
He said a couple lines from How We Roll though. Remember that song How We Roll?
Nah.
Yeah, like nobody want to hear that, man. Yeah, but still.
But he did recycle.
I mean, nobody want to hear that.
CANIBUS,
12 years later, man, nobody want to hear that.
My thing is, when I listen to CANIBUS, I don't know if y'all ever heard the Rip the Jacker album,
yeah.
But it's like, I listen for that kind of CANIBUS where he's, I'm talking about I'm from Mars and shit, and I'm in a spaceship, and y'all motherfuckers are still walking, and I'm flying in a spaceship. I'm expecting that kind of shit from CANIBUS. Instead, I got this really elementary CANIBUS. But I think that was the point.
You laughing,
no, it's
true.
I think that was the point because
he got why I oughta.
Yes. That's what I kind of expected. I mean, I'm sorry. That's what I kind of got.
Oh my God,
and then when that clicked, I was like,
So you thought the production was on par as well?
Because of 1996. That album made me want to get a FUBU hoodie and some cross colors and some Timbs and go to the mall with a baseball bat.
Man, you know what, Mike? I think you hit it dead on because when I black out, you black out too. And I'm like, man, what the hell is this shit? But then that's all I've been listening to since yesterday around 3 after you and I talked. And I listened to it over and over and over again. I'm like, you know what? I can roll to this. I said, because you know what? My expectations weren't super high, but there was enough for me to like, you know what? If I have nothing else I wanted to listen to, or it reminded me, like you said, it did take me back to 96, 94 when you go find something like, that ain't the best, but I'll listen to it. I'll ride to it. I'll listen to it. Because I think a couple of tracks I like was No Brainer. The way they flipped it seemed to me like they flipped the chorus. They flipped the chorus and with the music, it seemed like the instrumental on the verses should have been on the chorus, and the instrumental on the chorus should have been on the verse. But I love that because they had that weird dun 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 type. That shit was crazy, man. And then the Undergods track. The Undergods track is what got me. How Undergods roll. When he said, I walk in the room with axe. Lead 3
So that got you. You was like, yes, this album is great.
Yeah,
oh, okay. I'm about to say.
I was like, did he just really say that? I'm like, did he just really? Was that a lyric?
Here's a line.
So when I heard that, I was like, oh my God, this is horrible. But then when I kept listening,
oh my God.
But when I kept listening to it, I was like, alright, this is kind of funny.
Because if that line came out in 1996, we'd have no problems with it.
Probably, man, but it ain't 1996.
Right. Going for it. Okay,
they don't have to make it 1996.
When I first heard the album, I'm gonna tell you when I finally said this shit sucks. The first time I heard it, when I can't even name the song, but when CANIBUS said, when you swing, you better mean it. A swift knee kick to the penis. That's what'll happen real quick, genius. Why are you kicking people in the dick, CANIBUS? Who kicks people in the dick?
You a grown ass man. Like, come on, now you ain't no little 4-year-old girl. You know what I'm saying?
Why are you kicking people in the dick, CANIBUS? When I first heard that line, I swear to God, I was like, see, I'm done. But when I got to that mind state, and I was like, wait a minute, this album is supposed to sound kind of like elementary style, like real true to life hip hop. Oh, okay. I'm fine with it.
Because I think when it got to 7, Guilty Will Pay, which I found, I thought it was ironic that Crooked Al was on the track when he was kind of beefing with
Royce.
That track is old.
Lord, I know it is. Okay. But I was like, damn, that's kind of ironic that this comes out now and that they're supposed to be beefing or whatever. But I think right at that 7 track, it kind of started to tail off a little bit. Like right when it got to Princes of Persia.
That was near the end, though. That was like at the end.
Yeah.
To me, it went down.
That's one track that stood out to me. How was that? I really
Princes of Persia.
Yeah.
It's bad.
It was bad.
It was just as bad.
I couldn't imagine that.
Yo, look.
I could not
All
imagine.
you need to know is 2 niggas and they made a song called Princes.
All I'm saying is I think when you said 96, I kept thinking, okay, it's like, okay, we all know they were out. I think Shaq, right? Shaq, the last 2 years, I know I'm bringing in sports, all he does is commit fouls and take up space. Out of his prime. I'm thinking this is Shaquille O'Neal in hip hop out of his prime. Okay, that's kind of, but you know he can't. Okay.
I don't know, man.
He's good enough. He'll still dunk on you every now and then, right?
Yeah.
He'll still get you. He'll still have some good. He'll still have a couple of good games where you think, oh, this is Shaq. I know, this is Shaq. And then you're like, what? Come on, man. Like you swinging people with an axe, like and special sound effects.
I'm like, come on.
Did you really go?
Exactly.
For real, Keith Murray?
Exactly.
Okay, so how did you feel about it, B?
I didn't like it.
Why?
I mean, to me, it was just so elementary. I just didn't. Yeah, you laughing at me? Why you laughing at me?
Because it is.
It is so elementary, man.
So was most beautifulest girl in the world.
Yeah.
Man,
it was elementary.
I don't want to hear 95, 96 flow, man.
I do want to hear 95 right quick.
But
I've been playing it
the
hard.
thing is, you
do
can
a
listen
bit.
to 95, 96 music that came out in 95, 96. Like, you can't listen to
But what did you
95, 96
expect,
music
though?
that was made in 2011.
Come on, nobody knows.
I put that album on, like I said, I was thinking the same way at first. I was like,
I don't wanna hear
these
95,
motherfuckers
96.
did not step their game up. This is stupid. But
yeah,
then I really
right.
thought about it, and I'm like, wait a minute. Now, hold on, time out. I know cannabis. Now, Keith Murray ain't really done that much in the past couple of years.
Yeah.
I know cannabis. And I know goddamn well cannabis can do better than kicking somebody in the penis.
Exactly.
So I'm like, wait a
man.
minute now. But if you think about it, it's like, why did cannabis do that?
Why?
I think cannabis
Why?
was rapping elementary like that because that was kind of the feel of the album. Either that or he fell off. And I kind of want to think he fell off that hard.
Yeah.
I don't think he fell off that hard.
Nah,
but
That's why I didn't like the album, man.
I think the other, if I had to complain about it, I think one of the other things that I probably would say, because after a while I'm like, why the hell is Keith Murray yelling? What the hell is he yelling for?
He's trying to keep up with cannabis.
You know, it's like, so cannabis, I mean, Keith Murray was yelling a little bit too much for me. You know, at some point. I think because they call themselves the Smoke God, I really think sometimes Keith Murray was high when he did some of his verses. I think he really just came in there and he was just kind of a little lit and freestyle.
That's no damn disclaimer or anything.
I'm not using it as a disclaimer. I'm just trying to say, I'm trying to figure out why there's certain verses he sounded so disconnected.
Dumb old interludes and stuff. I mean, just take
Okay,
all
he
that.
explain why they
Some of
done
the
stuff.
golly.
He could be Lord of the Underground. I mean, God of the Underground. That's already been done. So.
Some of the stuff I think was just like. But I can only really judge cannabis. I really can't judge Keith Murray because he doesn't really have that much material for me to go back and judge him.
He doesn't.
So when I listened to the album, there were quite a few songs where I thought that Keith Murray was offbeat, like a motherfucker.
He was high dog.
Very offbeat. So with Keith Murray, maybe it was a matter of he ain't been rapping in a minute.
Okay.
And Cannabis hollowed at him was like, let's do this album. Let's bring back 2 of the fucking lyrical gods from back in the day and let's just make an album together. Now, granted, y'all understand this shit has been going on since Bush was in office. They've been trying to make this album.
Yeah.
Like
So,
03.
since,
So it
and it's just
like right when Keith Murray got out of jail. Once he got out of jail.
Right. So the songs are old. Some of the songs are old. So,
You can tell.
you brought Keith Murray out of retirement, put him on an album. Now, they cannot make a Rip the Jacker with Keith Murray on it. Cannabis really didn't have a choice but to make an old school sounding album because Keith Murray is not going to sound good on a 2011 beat. You put him on an Alchemist beat, he's going to sound like a fucking idiot. But you put him on that old school Jake 1 beat that he made, he sounds alright.
I think it was alright, B. I think it had enough.
I don't think the album sucks. I think the album.
Am I?
was basic.
Crazy.
So you gonna listen to this album again?
I'm listening to it right now.
Oh hell no!
Yeah, I'm listening to it when I get in the
I
car.
have to be in that mind state.
I'm gonna put it in no brainer and I'm gonna ride out.
I'm not listening.
Underground's how we roll. That's what I'm gonna do.
I'm not riding out to that. I'm sorry.
Walk in the room with an axe.
No.
Leap 3 and then cannabis ass.
on his back.
Then I take the ass and use it like a samurai.
These gashes on his back.
Keith Murray does not sound any different than Keith Murray sounded in 1995.
I'm not
I was expecting more from Cannabis too.
Oh,
I did.
Like, man, he was. I mean, you know.
See, at first,
I mean, I wouldn't expect the second round knockout Cannabis,
Cannabis
but
won't
you
let
know.
me down again. So it's good.
So you feel he didn't let you down? So he let you down on that album, or you did?
Cannabis has struggled throughout certain periods. He
struggled on that album.
He did, but at this point, I think.
So why do you
Cannabis-
think it's good though?
Cannabis-
Because I think because
So you would tell me to go out and listen to this shit.
if you like old school hip hop,
I would not
So
tell
you
you.
gonna go
I
tell
would not
the
tell you to listen to that shit,
the
dog.
viewers
Mike,
and subscribers
Mike,
to
I
go
would not
get
tell you to listen.
Undergods?
If I had an album, Mike, don't listen to that album.
You're gonna stand behind that.
yeah.
You gonna tell the viewers. to
Look,
go get
not
Undergods. Okay.
them little kids that be on there fight with me about our future. No, I won't tell those little kids.
You talking about a
I'm gonna tell
30-year-old.
y'all 35-year-olds that want that old school boom bap shit. Yes, I'll tell you guys to go pick up the Undergods album because it's on some old school boom bap. It's basically like picking up a fucking KRS album. You ain't gonna put a KRS album and hear Royce lyrics. Nah, you gonna put a KRS album on, you gonna hear KRS lyrics. You gonna hear KRS via 1995 because KRS has not really updated his style all that much, but it's still good. So this album, I put it
good,
on.
though.
And when I first put it on, I was like, this is some bullshit. But I had to check myself for a minute and think about it. Wait a minute.
I checked myself.
This is an old school hip
I
hop
was like, hell
album,
to the no.
and this is what it should be.
Yeah, I was mad.
So therefore, if this album came out when I was 15, I'd been like, man, this shit, Undergods, I'll kick him in the penis. I haven't even.
Why you mad,
So what? So what would you tell the
mad
people?
at that,
What would you tell the people, B?
Thumbs down, man. You know, if you listen to it, don't say I didn't warn you. Don't say I didn't warn you. Do not listen to that. I mean, you know, listen to the album, but if you don't get mad at me.
Some of y'all might think we fake. Y'all niggas just rap. We live it in time and manifest life through beats and rhymes.
Laser beam technique, rap elite, chemical scientist, immaculate speech, the package is heat. The real shit is back on the streets, jacking for beats. These niggas rapping for keeps. It's the most official connect of arrogant architects coming through to blow up the set.